Good afternoon, welcome back to Forever United TV. I'm Adam, welcome along to your show, welcome along to all of your Manchester United updates, slightly earlier than normal, so thank you again everybody for joining us on this early afternoon, or early evening show, let's just say. We will be back later on with any updates as they happen, of course. I've got a big game tonight with the girls, so we're going to be covering the stories earlier on this afternoon and getting into it on Garnacho and Sancho in particular. Creativity needed in the Garnacho transfer is what we're looking at. A compromise for Jadon Sancho and that move that might happen to Roma. We spoke about Rasmus Højlund this morning being another one indeed. Lots of opinions on the midfielder that could possibly still come in as well for Manchester United again today, and everybody clinging on to hope, I think even in the media, that Manchester United do something because they keep getting asked the same questions. A definite future star for Manchester United also has a chance to train with the first team squad. I think you all know who I mean about that, and we'll get into that as well. And that's another story that's doing the rounds today. Fast tracking at its finest, you would say, through United's Academy. Let's get into it. Everyone get into the live chat. Give me your thoughts. Give me your comments. Let me know what you think. Obviously, we're waiting and still waiting. 10 days to go for Manchester United to make things happen in this transfer window, and still no major updates with everything that's happening. We are hoping that we are going to get something. Maybe it's going to be next week, or maybe it could be over the weekend. With football being back, it usually always takes preference and throws a spanner in the works when it comes to all of the transfer and negotiation activity. United travelling down to London, obviously this weekend, to play Fulham, and it gets to that point where you're actually looking at football and transfers. You kind of forget that the window is still open, and we have got these 10 days. But believe me, next week is going to be absolutely huge for Manchester United, along with a load of other football teams going into that and going into the end of the transfer window. So, yeah, hold on to your hats. Will we be getting a final? Here we go on Garnacho. Will we be getting it on the Jadon Sancho situation? Garnacho today, more stories are started to emerge of Manchester United's approach to Chelsea. Now, we know, and Sky have been talking about this, as Chelsea's a low ball offer for Garnacho, as little as 25 million they were reporting just earlier on this week, and that's what Chelsea value him at. I'm sorry, that's just not going to cut it with Manchester United. Even if you want rid of Garnacho and you just want him out of the door and United have to take a cut price offer, like I've mentioned many a times before, you're still not going to do that. 25 million is nowhere near enough for Garnacho, and that bid is never going to be accepted. Manchester United have apparently looked into the potential swap or make weight deals as well with Garnacho, and there's plenty of options that you could look at there, but again, I'm never fully convinced by any swap deal because the player coming the opposite way doesn't want to come. He's not up for it, let's be honest. And he's always one of them that, with the last time Manchester United did a swap, what was it? Alexis Sanchez and Mkhitaryan. And we all know how that worked out. It never ever works. So again, I get it. I get why people might be talking about potential swaps and other players going the opposite way, things like this. No one, I don't feel, ever goes for it. So I just look at any sort of potential move for any player of Chelsea's as a no-go, really. I mean, the latest one to come out was Andre Santos, the young 21-year-old central midfielder. Honestly, looking at that, I feel at the moment Manchester United, they're just not willing to accept Chelsea's offer. And that's another olive branch, man. I know Omar Barada is close to Chelsea and has got a good relationship, according to Fabrizio Romano. But you're scraping the barrel here a little bit. No disrespect to Santos, but that is not a deal that Manchester United would have planned. And that player does not come into Manchester United's first team straight away, does it? No. He doesn't. So what's the point in making it happen? All you're going to do is lose money. Manchester United should be looking at getting a player that they want. Now, we've mentioned the gourmet before. There is still nothing concrete on this apart from the update that we gave you this morning. I think Ben Jacobs has also been saying today that he feels like something is going to happen with Manchester United. He feels like there is a bid for somebody coming in over the next week. They just don't know who it's going to be. And honestly, right now, I listen to Romano. I've listened to The Athletic. I've listened to Ben Jacobs. I've listened to quite a few people now. And nobody has got a clue who Manchester United are going for. I think that's clear. We know the targets. We know who we might be looking at. But again, Manchester United have kept this transfer window under wraps. And until we have really gone in for a player, nobody has known. Remember the stories about Ollie Watkins being United's top target? And then we went all in on Benjamin Sesko. It's always been the case. And Mbeumo came out of the blue. Until United want people to know, we're not going to know. And I think that's probably a good way to get business done. And it's completely different to what Manchester United were doing before. You're going to get all of the in-the-knows and journalists and everybody talking and doing what they do best in terms of spreading the rumours and the links with players. But I just don't think that Manchester United or anyone around Manchester United is convinced by anyone. And I'll keep on saying that until a name pops up. And when that name does pop up, I'll be all over it. Agome is a realistic target for Manchester United. But I just don't think we are fully convinced. Like, I still don't know if there's any talks. And I think most of the journalists are they're throwing ideas out there at the moment. And that, for me, I feel is where we're all sat here waiting. Like, there's nobody talking about anybody in particular because nobody knows of anyone in particular. And it could be anyone. Anyone could be linked with Manchester. Like, you've seen the stories this summer in midfield. We've had Camavinga, we've had Tuamini. There is still stories going around regarding Manchester United going in for another big name midfielder. There is still stories going around that Manchester United might be going for that unknown midfielder. I know for certain that there isn't anyone in Manchester United's academy right now that I'm watching that is going to come through the ranks and actually stake a claim for a place in Manchester United's first team. And I just don't know who it is going to be. The story that I was mentioning a minute ago in the opening of the show, JJ Gabriel, the 14-year-old attacking wonder kid at Manchester United, has been told, and this has come from Simon Stone of the BBC, who is the BBC correspondent for Manchester United, has said that he is now been told to expect to play and train, well, not play, but train with the first team this season. That is staggering for a 14-year-old kid to be told that at the start of a season. Unbelievable, in fact. So that will be something that I'm sure will be reported at the time, but it just goes again to show you the prospects. Manchester United obviously announcing new management now of the academy and everything going forward. There is a massive push for Manchester United's future from this football club, in particular Ineos, in getting things straight and the foundation of the club coming through. But again, nothing for this season. And all anybody is bothered about right now is the here and now. And that, at the moment, is what we've got. And like we talked about this morning, it's going to be a Menu and a Garte, a system working together, having to do a lot more because I'm just not convinced. As the days go by now, I'm getting less and less encouraged by the noises coming out. I do believe next week is obviously going to be massive because we've got to get rid of all of these players. At least another 5 players to leave Manchester United next week, which is huge. It is. It's a lot of business to get through. Whether that fills United with confidence as to going out and getting another player in, I still don't believe it at the moment. I'm just not hearing enough that convinces me. And yeah, let's just have a look at what we know. And what we know is Garnacho is waiting for Chelsea to finalise a deal with Manchester United. But the fact that Manchester United and Chelsea are actually discussing, and Chelsea have said no to Santos, by the way, the fact that we're discussing this kind of tells you that we are not any closer to finalising a deal. The price is nowhere near what Manchester United wants, and Chelsea have got to do a hell of a lot more. And this, I think, is the situation. Now, a lot of people would say, well, Chelsea can actually spend money this summer. Why are they not spending money? They're financially secure. Chelsea have to come under a certain threshold or under guidance from UEFA, so they don't break rules with UEFA. Remember when they were sanctioned? Well, I was listening to Kieran Maguire about this the other day. It's a similar situation with Aston Villa, where they might be safe now with PSR. They're not safe with UEFA and their rules, so they have to sell somebody. Nicholas Jackson isn't in the squad this weekend for Chelsea. They're hoping to move him on. Jackson and Kunku, when these players move on, expect Chelsea to make their formal offer, official offer to Manchester United. Hopefully a decent one after having so many weeks of talks with Manchester United over this, as reported by Romano. They know exactly what United want. I just don't believe that they're anywhere near it at the moment. especially when you've got talks of other players going the opposite way. That tells me that there is nothing happening anytime soon. And no matter what Romano says, United are not going to accept the offers or the so-called bids that are and numbers that are going around at the moment. We know this. As a United fan base, we're never going to be paying we're never going to be accepting the 25 million sort of price tag for Garnacho. That's just ridiculous. And whether Sky have just picked that number up out of thin air and thrown it out into a report, I don't know. But people are going to be listening to Sky and thinking that they're obviously doing their job and making sure that they're covering all bases here. And you have to look at that as a genuine sort of a price that Chelsea have sort of been looking at, really, for Garnacho. It's a million miles away, and this deal is not going to happen at this moment. And that brings up the conversations that we've had throughout the week about letting the players rot in the reserves. If they don't accept that Manchester United have a price, then they won't be sold. I just don't know which way it's going to go. The unknown factor in this transfer window has been staggering, hasn't it, compared to windows before. Manchester United keeping, like I just said, everything close to their chest with every single deal that could potentially happen. And I think it's going to be the same again. I just look at the situation with Garnacho, and I think it's going to be one of them bolts from the blue, like, bang, there we go, deal agreed, away we go. Garnacho on his way to Chelsea. And at that point, I'm like, that's great, that's fantastic, I want him gone, for reasons I mentioned this morning on the earlier show. But I don't think that money is enough for Manchester United to go and get who they want. If they wanted a gourmet, then he would have already been through the door, I feel, because that is not their deal. Is that even Ben Jacobs said today that it could be 25 to 30 million. It's peanuts for what Manchester United have spent already and what we were actually thinking of spending on Carlos Baleba. I just don't think there is enough there. I mean, you have to be realistic. Unless they are good or better than what we've got, they're not going to buy him. They're not. And this is that Santos one. I'm like, shut up. I don't think that's real. I really don't. I can't see that happening. But look, I don't know what Chelsea player there is. I mean, is there anyone that you feel that Manchester United could tap into at Chelsea for a make weight? Chelsea are not going to sell any of their big players. So I just don't see it happening. I really don't. I don't think there is. It's like, going back to what Jacob said, there's a surprise coming, if anything, because nobody knows what's happening. It's madness. It is. The only guarantees we've got are the 5 players that United want out. We spoke about Rasmus Højlund today. We know how close that deal is. Even Sky Sports now are reporting that Rasmus Højlund is close to Napoli. Napoli actually feeling like Champions League football will get this deal over the line and convince Rasmus Højlund. But again, he has stated that he wants to feel appreciated and wanted. And the only way that happens is if somebody comes in with a permanent offer, whether it is a full sale at the start or a loan with obligation to buy and no comebacks. The player is driving this on his own. He doesn't want to be used, like Romano said, as another player coming back in who is going to be in the wilderness at Manchester United because they don't know what they're doing and they're not convinced by the player. I said it this morning, I don't think that would be the case with Rasmus, but I get where he is coming from. The player himself, I feel, knows the writing is on the wall, and he doesn't even want to take a risk of being treated the way that the other players have been treated so far this summer transfer window. So let's see. Leo says that Lavia only one, really? Injury-prone player. Lavia, good player. Very good player. I would take him if he was fully fit all of the time. I think he's exactly what Man United might need. And obviously they're not going to sell Caicedo or Enzo. To be honest, I wouldn't want Enzo anyway. I would take Caicedo in a heartbeat. But that's never going to happen. But yeah, Lavia, again, Chelsea would probably rate him at about 80 million. United will probably end up spending money while trying to sell Garnacho. So yeah, I feel like at the moment, no, don't see anyone coming in. I can't. I'm not going to start bullshitting and saying that things are going to happen in a certain department because just for the sake of it, because just they're not. There's no stories there. There's nothing to tell us that things are going to move forward for Manchester United in any sort of area at the moment, and it's that surprise factor that's coming in. So I'm not getting angry about it. I have acceptance of what we've done this transfer window. I know we wanted to go all in for Carlos Baleba. And that's not happening. So, bang, here we go. This is what we're dealing with. And what we're dealing with right now is not enough quality in the market for Manchester United to go out and spend the money. Bang, plain and simple. There you go. Don't forget, everybody, please pop a like on the video. Thank you so much for joining us on the earlier show today. Like I said, busy this early evening. I will be back later on tonight if anything does break, though, with any updates at all. So don't worry, I've got you covered still. Big things happening for the weekend, like I mentioned earlier on the channel as well, everybody. Watch-alongs on Football Talks on Friday, tomorrow for Chelsea, West Ham, and then again on Sunday for Manchester United versus Fulham. Plenty of matchday content for you to get your teeth into this weekend, everybody. So, yeah, really looking forward to the football this weekend. It seemed like it's been a long week without football all of a sudden. We've had one game, got a taste for it, and then it's painful having to wait another 7 days before we play again. We're greedy, aren't we? We just want the football, and we want it every single day. Well, next week we got Fulham, and then we've got Grimsby, and then we've got Burnley to finish up the first bunch of fixtures. So, yeah, busy week coming up. Right, comments. What have we got? What's everyone saying right now? United won't take Lavia because his injury record is worse than Mount's. I mentioned his injury record there. It's been atrocious. 50 mil or Garnacho can rot, can't become Chelsea's doormat, and need to set a precedent that we are not a push-over club. True. That from Mac, ZMac. Stu says, yes, Daniel, loans for Sancho, Anthony, sell Højlund, Malacia, but hold firm on Garnacho, 45 to 50 million. Would you take that? Would you do make weight deals for everybody else, but take full whack on Garnacho? I mean, the most money that we've got in any deal potentially is Garnacho's. We know that for certain. So, would you accept a lower offer for everybody else? I'm going to update you on the Jadon Sancho situation in just a moment. But would you do that? Would you look at trying to get the max out of Garnacho and then probably look to just get the other deals done and get them over the line? I think some fans, are just fed up at the end of the window. It's been a long-ass window, hasn't it, for everybody. The 3 months window, we got to get used to that in the future. My God, when it's Club World Cup year, we are definitely going to have to be prepared for it, because this has been very, very tiring. The transfer window has zapped the life out of every single set of fans, I think, this year. Look at Spurs. We were talking about with Eza yesterday, with Newcastle and Isak and what's happened there. There's so many crazy deals going around the transfer market. It's a mad one. It really is. And United have been right at the top of it as well. But again, we cannot sell players, and everybody's waiting for that moment when Manchester United finally get... I think we'll all have a massive celebration when we actually do permanently sell someone and a deal goes through. I think that is going to be that big moment for Manchester United and all Man United fans. So, yeah, I'm confident that we'll get at least 4 of these players done. I'm not worried about Malacia. He's posted out videos of him training personally. To be honest, I would be worried about the quality in them videos. I wouldn't have been posting them ones because he doesn't look anything special at all. It looks a bit sluggish for my liking. But yeah, that's him. I don't think we're going to get much for him anyway. Anthony, big concern. Now, Pellegrini came out earlier on Anthony and this situation. And listen to this one. Pellegrini says, I've not spoken to Anthony. But obviously everybody knows what impact he had and how well he did at this football club. We want Anthony back at Betis, but we understand that Manchester United still need to make a decision. Now, that could have been lost in translation, but United need to make a decision. I think United's decision has already been made. Pay the money or do one. Real Betis are taking the mick with this Anthony situation, just like other clubs like Chelsea are with Garnacho. And again, it's up to Manchester United how far they let this run on. But is it not far enough now going into the last week of the window after this weekend's fixtures have finished? I think it is. I really do think that it is the end for Manchester United now. And they need to make some cutthroat decisions just to move these players on. For every reason that I described earlier on, Every reason that I was talking about in terms of Ruben Amarim, with him having a clean slate and having players out of the way, he needs to work with what he's got, and he's not going to be able to do that to the best of his ability. Well, you've got people in there that really don't like him and don't want to be there and are happy to make an absolute nuisance of themselves. That, I think, is a guaranteed to happen going in to the rest of this season if we don't move these players on. That's the biggest thing. The now, the Ruben, and getting the best out of what we've got. The players coming in, that will take care of itself in time. But the biggest point that you've got to make is that Ruben needs help and these players need to be moved on. Super chat in from Glenn. Thank you very much, mate. The way Chelsea do business, we will probably give them a loan fee we'll give a loan fee for them to take Garnacho on loan on the last day of the window. Yeah, they do seem to know what they're doing when it comes to transfers. And having Manchester United over is an area of expertise for Chelsea. Let's just put it that way. It is, isn't it? It's a killer for us, literally, because they always seem to have our pants down no matter what the deal is. And I've got a horrible feeling that they're hoping that they can get that again late on in the last few days of the window. I'll stand by it. I haven't got a problem if Garnacho is still at the football club, sat on his own, doing nothing by the end of this season. I think it's a lesson learnt, because I know he'll probably go in January. There's no player, no matter how stubborn they are or how wrong they feel they have been treated, will wait a whole year without kicking a football. That's not going to happen. His profile, his own personal branding, everything that comes into play, all of them deals that he's got, them boot deals and things like that, if he's not playing, there is definitely breach in there and there is reason for cancellation. So they know that they have to play football. If United stand firm, a deal will happen still. It may be pushing the boundaries of what they're willing to take, but a deal will be done, I think, for these players. It has to at the end of the day. Jadon Sancho, he won't sign a deal. Anthony being a twerp. Malacia will go for 5 mil. Højlund, Napoli 40 mil, and Garnacho we have to hold firm on. We have 2 years on his contract and option to extend that by 1 more. You still do want him out of the way though, don't you? Because he is going to cause a problem inside Manchester United in Carrington. He is going to be an issue for Ruben Amarim, so we do still want him moved on. And that, I think, is key in this one. Where did you see the reported diagnosis on Sekou Kone's injury? Oh, Sekou Kone has a fractured eye socket, by the way. That's why that game was cancelled the last week. He will be back in a couple of weeks, but he will probably be wearing a face mask. So Sekou Kone set back. A lot of people thinking, at United as well, Bill I've spoke to, he might have been the one to step forward into this midfield role for Manchester United, but no, it doesn't seem like Ruben has been overly impressed enough to put Kone into Man United's first team. And that was proven in pre-season. He didn't kick a ball. So clearly not ready, clearly not the player that Ruben wants right now. And another year in Manchester United Academy, maybe alone will do him good. I think because of him only just adapting to English, to England, and only having his first year in, I think he'll stay with the academy this season. And then I think it will be a loan next season. But then you're getting into the 22s, hitting the early 20s for Sekou Kone. Not 22s, sorry. And then you're hitting like the 20s, and decisions need to be made then. When you've got 18, 19-year-olds making debuts in senior football, that's the sort of levels. And you usually know, like, of course there are players that develop later on in their careers, but you're usually using that as a tell to know if this player is going to make it. How soon is he going to be in Manchester United starting 11? If you've got a 14-year-old in JJ Gabriel being told that he's going to train with Manchester United's first team this season, then that's a sign of what is to come. Like Kai Rooney being put forward at 15 into the under-19s, like JJ Gabriel, both of them players promoted. Whether that continues and when they get to senior level, I don't know. But I'm just saying trajectories through academies, you can clearly see a pathway. Gabe Bayenkere, one of Man United's brightest young players forwards from last season, now looking to be sent on loan by Manchester United. He's not going to come through into Manchester United Academy. The goalkeepers, like we explained the other day, 2 more players there that are going to be sent out. I think Manchester United have sent near enough about 10 players out on loan, including Marcus Rashford, of course, but a lot of our academy is out on loan right now. And that tells me that the club are not convinced by them. The club are not convinced in what's happening, and it's just going to take a little bit more time. And that, I think, is a sign that Manchester United are doing the right thing, but it's not going to happen anytime soon when it comes to Manchester United getting anybody through their academy. That, I think, is clear for everybody to see. But look, you're in a position here with Manchester United where you're looking at players like Brian Mbeumo, Matthias Cunha, Benjamin Sesko, players like this coming through of like the absolute top quality level. That's the United standard for the first team. Not players that are okay from the academy. No disrespect to any of them players. They're great players coming through. But the difference this summer has been, and it's been clear, Ruben's not going to throw anybody into this Man United side. The transfer window tells you that, and who we brought in. The players that are leaving are telling you that. And the amount of academy players that have come through under Ruben is also saying that there is not going to be anybody just coming through from Man United's academy. They have to be the right type of player, and they have to be ready to get any chance at all. I think that has been made very, very clear by Ruben Amarim. Right. On to the Jadon Sancho situation. I will continue into the comment section very, very shortly as well. But Roma have agreed a €17 million transfer fee with Jadon Sancho. So they've brought the fee down, apparently, according to reports this afternoon. Whether they're true or not, we'll decide if anything happens past this show. I don't know. But this is the report coming from Italy right now. 17 million. So you're kind of thinking there, okay, have they agreed this deal so they can help Roma afford to pay for Jadon Sancho? Know where I'm going with it. So they've agreed a €17 million deal. It's about 15 million quid for Jadon Sancho. Negotiations continue with Sancho demanding 6.5 million euros in salary, while Roma aims to lower that to 5.5 million. Well, United have given him a helping hand there with that one. But the issue, like we said yesterday as well, was the commission that his agent wanted from any potential sale. So his entourage, his agent, 10 million euros commission, requiring from Roma's side, Manchester United to step in again and offer a severance pay option to try and make this happen. Basically, what that means is you combine Jadon Sancho's wages, you combine the agent's fees, and you look at what Roma can afford, and then Manchester United may try and nudge or move what they can put in or what they want to try and get the player out of the door. How much are United willing to chip off this transfer just to get Sancho out of the door? We are breaking even with Jadon Sancho, is what we're saying here. He's off the books, his wages have gone, and that's it. Going forward, PSR, the end of this year, Manchester United should be able to balance quite a bit with not having to pay Jadon Sancho's salary anymore. That's where we're at. But when you look at it, Jadon Sancho's salary per year, so 1 year's salary and his agent's fees for this year is worth more, near enough, than the actual transfer fee for the player. I know. That is where we're at according to the Italian reports at the moment on this one. It's not nice for us fans, but I think this fan base now, I think have succumbed to the fact that this is the way it's going to be. United are going to have to take big hits on transfers if they desperately want these players out, because the players hold power. Players do hold a lot of power these days in football. And if Sancho don't want to move, if Garnacho doesn't want to move, if Anthony doesn't want to move, Rasmus Højlund, Marcus Rashford, all of the players that we've been speaking about all summer, if they don't want to move, then United are kind of stuck and they have to play by their tune. They have to move themselves around a little bit to make things happen. And I think we're in the middle of something like that right now with Jadon Sancho as well. So keep the comments coming in on this. We'll talk about Sancho. We'll talk about Garnacho as well. We have got other updates coming in as well around Manchester United. So we'll talk about them in a moment. We're going to get some more comments in right now, though. Put Garnacho on gardening leave until January. Says Stephen. John says, I'm confident we beat Fulham if we play like we did against Arsenal. That's the difference, though, isn't it? We'll talk about this more. Obviously, Ruben's press conference is tomorrow. But Manchester United playing a different way against a smaller team, or so-called smaller team, than a big gun. That's kind of what's upset us and done us in before, isn't it? Like, not being able to handle the smaller, low-block teams who want to sit in and counter-attack you. That's where we've struggled. So let's see if we can adapt our game and go at it in a similar sort of fashion to how we did against Arsenal, but with a little bit of a tweak, because it's not going to cut it, is it? In just doing what we did against Arsenal, probably. Because they're not going to be as open at the back and give us as much space, because I don't think Fulham are going to attack us as much. Can't wait until this window is over. Please, God, make these days go fast. I just want to get, want to get to the football now. I think we all do. With a nice settled side, talking about actual football facts and different things going on. By the way, we have got some little announcements coming up for the start of the season. Well, season's already started, but probably after the transfer window closes, we'll have some updates and some announcements to make regarding certain things that we're going to be doing in the season going forward. Trying to bring you a little bit more, everybody. So that is coming. What's a bigger problem to have? Keeping Garnacho for 6 to 12 months, or letting the world know we undersell when pressed and bow to players' bad behaviour. He can play in the under-21s at push meets shove. I know exactly what you're saying, Daniel, but I disagree. Manchester United this window will be looking at it slightly different. Normal circumstances, if Chelsea wanted Garnacho and he was one of our players and we didn't have the bomb squad issue, I would agree with you completely. But everybody knows that there has been a massive fallout and a culture change is needed at United. And to get to that next stage, United are going to have to take a hit on quite a lot of these players and accept that just to get them out of the door, the greater good is obviously giving Ruben maybe a few more funds to go and bring in a midfielder this season. And United being successful without Garnacho is the bigger picture, I think, in all of this. I do get what you mean, though. We cannot bow down to players. I know. I don't think we have done either. I think we've stood our ground quite well in this transfer window. But when you look at it from United's point of view, they do need to obviously raise revenue still. We have spent a lot of money. And if we do want to bring in somebody else, then something has to give. And I think Garnacho might be one of them players where we do give. We'll see. We'll see. There's time, and it could come to a head next week. This weekend, we will see. He won't be in the squad again, obviously. But in terms of putting him in the under-21s, I wouldn't punish the under-21s. That is one player I would not want anywhere near any of Manchester United's prospects coming up. Can you imagine someone like Garnacho playing alongside JJ Gabriel? No, keep him away. He will actually ruin their careers. The two or three guys that need to go is holding the whole show up with a keeper and a midfielder. That's true. It is, because I think United do realise that they have to sell now before they can bring anybody else in. I think they need to make room in the squad, to be honest. They do need to make a lot of room in the squad for other players to come in as well. Never mind just the money. I remember having these conversations with my mate about Garnacho years ago when he was in the academy. Oh, that's interesting, Stu. Did you pick up on something then as well? James says, I think our interest in Garnacho is basically to encourage a decent price from Leipzig for Simmons. That's him replying to Gehen there on that one. Adam Dortmund wants for Felix Mecca, 60 million minimum. I don't think United were ever in for him, to be honest, mate. Never heard anything serious enough on that one. Jack Fletcher got more minutes than Kone in pre-season. Jack Fletcher is probably a better player than Kone, that's why. And watching the academy last season, you could see that Kone is still finding his feet. Jack Fletcher is a very, very good player. Is he ready for the first team? I mean, he's had some minutes in pre-season. He had some minutes last pre-season. He had a good season for United's under 18s and 21s. So, yeah, there could be something there for him. But at the moment, is he better than what we've got in there? And you have to say no. And is Ruben willing to risk it? No, he's not. Is the answer to that one. Clearly. Cheers for all the likes, everybody. Absolutely smashing it. Let's see if we can get that up over 500 before we finish the show tonight. Boxing says straight out. Garnacho out. Bad money on bad money. It says Boomer. Check for some more. Daniel, I hear you on that. I hear you on that one, Adam. But I see Rash, Anthony, and Sancho as legacy issues. Garnacho is the beginning of what legacy they want to have. Under 21's threat is just that. Embarrass power play. I know. I get what you're saying. I do, mate. I do. I totally understand it, and it's a tough one, isn't it? It's a debate that's probably going to be happening around every single Man United fan group and down the pub, in groups online. Like, what do you do? Do you just succumb just to get him out of the door? The headache is gone, but you've taken a hit on the financial side of things. All of this, and like what Daniel says there, just let them rot. Don't buckle under the pressure. Ugh. You know, I just don't like the guy now. That's the problem I've got. I really don't like him. I don't like his attitude. Still, from like the moments when he wouldn't celebrate in front of the fans because he thought he'd been harshly treated by the fans. I didn't like that. Bruno Fernandes had a word with him early on, and everyone was having a go at Bruno Fernandes for being a bit harsh. The warning signs were there. Liking certain posts on social media that were disrespecting the manager. Doing what he did after the game in the final against Tottenham. The social media post wearing a Rashford Aston Villa shirt. That's embarrassing. That is embarrassing. That guy thinks he can do what he wants. And there's part of me that just wants his career to suffer right now. Not throughout, because I never want to see a player end his career. I'm not like that. I'm not that type of person. I want to see him have a good future away from Manchester United. Because there is a player in Garnacho. I just know that he doesn't fit what we're doing right now. And Ruben doesn't want him. So, whichever way you look at it, Manchester United now need to do what's best for Ruben Amarim and this team this season. Otherwise, you're going to have the same problem as you did last season. Issues, leaks, problems behind the scenes, one player causing an issue and everybody else suffering for it. That's what happens in football. Because it only takes one player. That is it. And Garnacho is that player, I'm afraid. Yes, it is an earlier show tonight. Anyone who is just joining us, I am busy this early evening. I have a game myself, so I am going to be back later on if any news does break. I'll be keeping an eye on everything that's going on. Don't worry. Back to normal tomorrow and through the weekend and into next week. This is probably the last early show that we are going to have on the channel now going through the season. So the last one, and thank you again. Obviously, like the transfer window, like I said earlier on, has been an absolute blockbuster, and it's been non-stop craziness throughout the last 3 months. I just want to say again, massive thank you to you all for sticking with the channel, being there on the shows. You've been an absolute massive part of this, and I am investing back into the channel. But we're going to be bringing you a lot more this season in terms of content, different types of content, and making the experience better as well. So stay tuned, stay with us. There is a lot more to come. It's going to get even busier. And what we've got planned is definitely going to take us up a notch in terms of quality as well going forward. So that is all to come as well. But the window's not shut yet. Harry Maguire could have left Manchester United. Did you know this? Harry Maguire's been coming out talking very confidently about his Manchester United future and what's happening. In fact, Harry Maguire's quotes from today, I think it was actually, on his future. Harry Maguire, I am almost certain that the club made it clear this summer that I could not leave under any circumstances. Several clubs inquired, but I think they were quickly told that Slabhead's going nowhere. I do hope that Manchester United, and this is with all respect to Harry Maguire, I do hope that Manchester United let Harry Maguire go in the summer. I do. Contract over. No need to renew. We need to bring in another centre-back. We've already got another 6 there besides him. He's the eldest one out of everybody at the back. Time to move aside. We've got enough. Bring in one more maybe in the summer after Harry leaves. It's a big wage off the books, and United can move forward. I think he's on somewhere between 9 and 10 million a year in wages. It's big for United, that. Especially when you add it to Casemiro's, who's also leaving. Time to move the older statesman on, I think, in the summer. Thank Harry Maguire for all his services and their moments and last-minute headers and winners. There are very few that can do what Harry Maguire does in the opposition box with his head. Let's get that right. He's a fantastic header of the ball. It's hard to miss that head, I'll be honest, but still, I think next summer Manchester United will be looking to move on Harry Maguire. And I hope they are anyway, because I think it'll be right. He does his full contract, 6 years at Manchester United, and he walks out having fulfilled his full contract. I don't think you can get better than that. I think that's a fitting way to go out, me, personally. And I hope that is what happens with Harry Maguire. I do. But let's just see. Let's just see is all I'll say on that. But Manchester United were not for selling him this summer. That is a definite. I'm just checking around all the news at the moment. More news coming out. Manchester United recently sent an inquiry for Moto Lublin's 18-year-old centre-back, Bright Ede. I've heard about this one before. The deal would be worth around 8.5 plus bonuses. Look, I'm talking about bringing centre-backs in, and there you go. There's one that's doing the rounds on social media at the moment. I've just seen a little snippet of Dorgu practicing and doing some work in the summer. And then I compare that to what I've seen of Tyrell Malacia. Well done, Manchester United and Ineos for getting that deal done. Yeah, I'm just checking through all of the other news as well right now. With the sale of Eberechi Eze to Arsenal, it now looks like that might be business closed for Crystal Palace, which means Manchester United's other top target, Adam Wharton, is no longer available for sale. But yeah, a few reports going around right now are on the signing of Bright Ede. So that is a story you will see. He's an 18-year-old centre-back. Moto Lubin's, I'm not even sure where Moto Lubin actually play. It's Poland, sorry. Yeah, it was Poland. I've heard this story before. I've heard about this kid before, and it's come back again. I wondered where I've heard it from. But yeah, that I think is something that Ineos would be interested in, bringing in a young centre-back. 100% agree with that one. But yeah, just to go over it again, Ruben Amarim has made it clear to JJ Gabriel that he is going to be training with the first team this season. So big news on the academy side of things for Manchester United. That is massive when it comes to a player who is 14. Like, that is big news, isn't it? For someone like that to be actually coming through into Manchester United's first team, just training at that age. I think it's big because Manchester United are looking to really put a lot more into their academy. Like, we've seen all of the effort that's going in. You can pass this off as nothing if you want. But this, I think, is a sign of things to come for United. You have to remember all the players that we brought in, all of the younger players we brought in as well. And what's happening at Manchester United's Carrington training ground right now. I think there is a big emphasis. And I do think that Manchester United for the future are looking in a good position. I think the now and what we're dealing with in this transfer window is a sign of what actually might come. I think going forward, United in transfer windows being as efficient as we are doing, the academy backing them up in years to come, it's just going to take a few years to get rid of the crap. It's going to take a few years to actually get over the line and start operating like other football clubs do in transfer windows. United turning bids down for certain players is the way that we want to be going. That's like the old Manchester United right there. But we have to go through the crap to get to that. And we're in the middle of it right now. This season is massive for United. It really is. Look, I'm going to wrap things up there on this one, everybody. That is you fully up to date with everything going on. Again, not loads to get through. Some interesting bits from that. And hopefully there's more news later on that I'll bring you with a bit more, significance to it. But We're back again tomorrow with all the updates. Another day down. Something has to give sooner or later. And I'll be ready to go when it does give, because we are running out of time. 10 days left to go. What will happen? Mods and everybody in the chat, thank you very much. I think I've just missed one super chat there. Sorry, from Jace. Adam, we need you in midfield for United. I'm probably better at centre-back right now. The legs are getting old. Starting to tire. I went and practiced with Kaz the other day. I run rings round Kaz on the practice ground the other day. She couldn't believe it, how fit I was and how much skill I've still got. She'll tell you that wasn't the case, but I'm telling you right now, I've still got a bit, but probably can't last 90 minutes. That's all it is. Whoop. that will get her talking. But that's it. Thank you, everybody. I'll be back later, like I said. Mods, everyone in the chat, super chats, new subscribers, welcome along to Forever United TV. I will see you in a bit. Give the video a like, subscribe, and have a good evening, everybody.